I am so excited about this. Hi everyone, my name is Leanne and today I'm going to be telling you everything that you need to know about the Irish Readathon, and I'm going to be telling you about my TBR. If you've not yet heard about the Irish Readathon, this is a month-long readathon running from the 1st of March to the 31st of March, which is all about reading and celebrating Irish writing. My co-hosts for this readathon are Aoife, Jessica and Stephen, and I will leave all of their channels linked down below. You should definitely check them out, as well as all of the other Irish booktubers that you come across. Not only will this be a celebration of Irish writing, but it will also be a celebration of the Irish booktubing community, and you can look forward to there being Irish booktuber shout-out videos. Anyways, more on the extras of the readathon in a minute. What are the basics? The basics are, as I said, this is a month-long readathon running for the whole of March, which is about reading more Irish literature than you normally would. So if you don't normally pick up any books by Irish writers and you pick up one book, it could be something as small as a play or a poetry collection, then you are participating. I myself am going to spend the whole month reading solely Irish literature, but we do have some challenges that you can use as prompts or to just make the readathon a bit more fun. You can double up on challenges, you can ignore the challenges altogether. It's super chill. We want as many people to participate as possible, and if that means just reading one book by an Irish writer, then go ahead, you are still participating. Anyway, on with the challenges. So the challenge that I chose for this readathon was to read a contemporary Irish book that was published in the last 10 years. I chose this challenge because I think there is often a really idealised romantic depiction of Ireland, and when you look into a lot of contemporary Irish writing, it's really going against that depiction and that stereotype. And the book that I've chosen for this challenge is The Blood Miracles by Lisa McInerney. Now this is the follow-up to her previous novel, The Glorious Heresies, which won the Women's Prize for Fiction a couple years ago. I read The Glorious Heresies last year and it was one of my top 10 books of the year. It has a lot to do with gang culture in County Cork. It has a lot to do with complex familial relationships and drug culture. There are a whole host of characters in that novel, but the one character that really stands out is Ryan Cusack. And this is the character that we follow in The Blood Miracles. The 20-year-old who in this book becomes involved in his boss's decision to go into the black market and exploits Ryan's dual heritage between Ireland and Italy. It's about how that endeavour affects the entire city, and I think this is going to be a really excellent follow-up to The Glorious Heresies. If you've read books like Trainspotting, then I think you would really enjoy this duology. Jessica's challenge was to read a book by an Irish female author, and the book I have chosen for this I don't actually have yet, but by the time we get to March I will definitely have acquired it, and that is Almost Love by one of my favourite authors of all time, Louise O'Neill. Louise is definitely an auto-buy author for me. I've really enjoyed her previous books, Only Ever Yours, which is kind of The Handmaid's Tale meets Mean Girls, and Asking for It, which is a book that deals with rape culture and sexism in Ireland. And I would highly recommend both of those books, but her new novel, Almost Love, is her first adult novel. This follows a girl named Sarah who falls for a man who is 20 years her senior, and it deals with what she is willing to give up in order to keep that relationship. I believe it's going to have a lot to do with the power imbalances of that relationship. As I said, Louise is just one of my favourite authors of all time, so I'm really looking forward to this one. Aoife's challenge is a really interesting one, and it is to read a book that focuses on a moment in Irish history. For this challenge, I have decided to pick up Wildflower Girl by Marita Conlon McKenna. This is the follow-up book to Under the Hawthorn Tree, which I have read twice. I read it once in primary school when I was about 11, and it was just the most emotional roller coaster of my life up until that point. And I reread it when I was about 18, and I still found it just as impactful and touching. And the event from Irish history that this focuses on is the Great Famine, or the Great Hunger, and this lasted from 1845 to 1849. Essentially, what happened was that the potato crop was struck by blight, and because this crop made up the majority of the Irish diet, this led to a period of mass starvation and, to escape the famine, mass emigration. In Under the Hawthorn Tree, we follow 3 children as they try and survive this famine. I'm not sure what's going on in the second book, but I imagine it is just a straight follow-up from the first one, and I think this would be a great one if you are interested in learning more about that period of Irish history. Stephen's challenge for this readathon was to read an Irish classic, and for this I have gone for a collection of plays. I've gone for J.M. Synge's The Playboy of the Western World and other plays. There are 6 plays in this collection. The first of J.M. Synge's plays was performed in 1902 2. I don't know too much about these plays other than J.M. Singh was part of the Anglo-Irish Literary Revival, which is something that I would like to do a full video on in March. Other writers that you may have heard of, like Lady Gregory or W.B. Yeats, played a huge role in this as well. So I'm really excited to read this one. And the final challenge is to read a book with green on the cover, because why not? Hey, the filming location has changed, and I've changed, and everything has changed. Apologies for the interruption to your regular viewing, but I have made a slight alteration to my TBR. Also, by the way, what do we think of this as a filming location? That's not important right now, that's a side note. Anyway, for the challenge of reading a book with green on the cover, I have now decided to read The Space Between by Meg Grehan. I know technically you could make an argument that this cover has blue on it, not green, but it's like a turquoise, it's like a greeny kind of blue. I can do whatever I want, and other books in my TBR have green on the cover, so whatever. This is a YA book that is told in verse, which features representation of social anxiety and agoraphobia, as well as a female-female romance. But yeah, that's it. Back to Leanne from the past. So that is my pick for that challenge. There are quite a few other books that I would be interested in getting to during the month. I'm not going to tell you everything about those books, I'm just going to whiz through them really quickly. So we have James Joyce's A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, Dancing at Lunasa, which is a play by Brian Feel, Decrescendo by Jerry Brennan, Solar Bones by Mike McCormick, which was shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize, District and Circle and Human Chain, both poetry collections by Seamus Heaney. I have quite a long-standing relationship with Seamus Heaney's poetry, which I will be talking about in one of my videos for the Irish Readathon. Frog Music and The Wonder by Emma Donoghue, who you may know as the author of Room. A Line Made by Walking by Sarah Baum, Carnivalesque by Neil Jordan, and Moonrise by Sarah Crossan. So there are a lot of books on my TBR, and I'm not going to put any pressure on myself to get to all of them. If I feel so inclined, I may pop along to the library and see if they have any other books that I'd be interested in reading, particularly poetry collections. I'm really looking forward to all of the reading that I'm going to be doing in March. And I hope you're excited to participate as well. As I said, even if you're just picking up one book by an Irish author, you are participating. Also, if you take any pictures of the books you are reading and make Instagram posts or Twitter posts about anything that you are reading during the Irish Readathon, be sure to hashtag it with the Irish Readathon. If you need a reminder of the dates and the challenges and the hashtag, everything will be down below in the description bar, as will the links to my co-hosts. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will talk to you guys in my next video.